Do you get messages from spirit or from your higher self? Do you ever wonder whether those messages are valid or if it's your imagination or even maybe wishful thinking? I'm Dina Kennedy from DinaKennedy.com, and I'm going to just explore that a little bit with you right now because that is a question I am often asked. So, first of all, let me start by saying everybody receives messages in their own unique way. Okay, and so you need to figure out for yourself, how do you get your messages? Do you hear them? Do you see them? How do they come to you? Do they come to you in a dream? Do they come to you when you're writing? You'll know. You'll figure it out. And once you get a sense of how the messages come, the next step is to figure out how to tell if they are valid. How to tell if they're coming from spirit or from the angels or from your higher self and not from wishful thinking or your imagination. I actually use 5 tools. So I have 5 tools that I'm going to go through with you that I use to check the messages that I get for myself and for my clients. First of all, to me, a valid message is going to be very short and to the point, quite succinct. It will be between 1 and 7 words. It will never be longer than that. If the message is longer and is all kinds of wordy and goes all loopy, I know that's my brain and that I'm not getting a message. My brain is just running interference. So examples would be, I might ask Spirit a question and the answer might be yes or no or turn here. Or once I got a message that said, it's time. And I went, ah! But anyway, I knew it was a valid message. And sometimes the message might be no. Or stop or wait. So it can be very, very short and to the point. Second of all, if it's a valid message, it's not going to be judgmental. It will hold no judgment whatsoever. It would be very matter of fact. So, for example, it would never say, oh, you fool, you should have known better than to do that. That is not a message. That's your brain running interference. That's your brain just judging you and being obnoxious, if I dare say so myself. It's also a real message that you're getting from a higher source is not going to be emotional. It is not going to be a message like, oh my God, if this doesn't happen, I will just die. That's not a real message. That's your brain. Or, oh, I'm sure this is the greatest thing. Do you feel the emotion in that? Real messages from spirit and from your higher source aren't going to have stuff like that in them. Again, they're just going to be very matter of fact. They just are. They have no charge to them at all. It's almost as if they don't care if you listen or not. And then fourth, I find that when I get a message from spirit, particularly when I get either a drop-in, which is when it just suddenly a fully formed thought comes into my mind around an issue, or I'm doing some writing and suddenly this thought comes out that I'm not sure where it came from. Sometimes those have a different vocabulary and a different syntax or sentence structure than I use in my regular day-to-day life. And when that happens, I recognize that something else is speaking to me, through me, and that I may be getting a message. And when that starts to happen, then I check against the other 4. Is it short? Is it non-judgmental? Is it non-emotional? And if it's a different vocabulary in a fully formed sentence, I know I'm getting a message. And then fifth of all, and this is kind of an odd one, but sometimes the messages that come in just don't make sense to your rational brain. Quick example, once I was driving on the Northway up here in the Adirondack Mountains. It was pouring rain and it was at night. And I said to Spirit, should I get off at exit 23, which was coming up, or exit 26, which I usually got off on? And Spirit said yes. And I thought, that doesn't make any sense. 23 or 26? And I heard yes. So I thought, okay, I don't know what this means. So I pulled over so that I could go off of exit 23. And as I went up the ramp from exit 23, I saw that under the overpass, right past where I was getting off, there was a big pileup of vehicles. The pileup was only under the overpass. So I went up the ramp, crossed over the top of the overpass, went back down onto the on-ramp, got back on the highway, and then I ended up getting off at 26 and going home. So even though that made no sense to my rational mind, it was totally valid. So I'm Dina Kennedy from DinaKennedy.com. You can find me at Facebook. Dina Kennedy Reiki is my business page. And I would love to chat with you some more. Namaste. Many blessings.